Hey guys, welcome back. From the 6th of January all the way to the 9th, there's going to be a raid event going on in both Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you're in Violet, you'll be getting Dragapult, and in Scarlet, you'll be getting Hydreigon. These raids are going to have the Pokemon spawning with all different Tera types, and I know that can be really overwhelming. So what we're going to do here today is go over the 5 best Tera types for each of these Pokemon. Let's get right into this. First, let's get into Dragapult. Now, these are not going to be in any particular order. All 5 of these are pretty good. There are some that are better than others, but I didn't really want to rank them because when it comes to Tera types, it can be pretty subjective to what you're going to be running on that team. The first one for Dragapult is the typing that I think is good on every single dragon, and that is Fire. Fire just complements dragons so well. Dragon can't touch fairy Pokemon, and it's weak to them. Fire resists them and hits them neutral. Dragon-type moves hit everything in the game for at least neutral other than those fairies and steel types. Fire hits steel types super effectively. They just go together really well, and when a dragon is a physical attacker, it works even better because they cannot be burned. And Dragapult having access to Clear Body means it has a built-in Clear Amulet. A Terrifier Clear Body Dragapult can't be intimidated and can't be burned. That is a scary Pokemon. Not to mention that this cheeky little dragon gets access to Flamethrower and Fire Blast, meaning that if you wanted to run a special set or a mixed set, you don't have to worry about using Terra Blast for damage. With all of those bonuses, it's crazy for me to not put Fire on this list. Next up, we have one that's a little bit more niche, but this one's really cool as well, and that is Tera Flying. Now, this is definitely nowhere near as good as it would have been back in Sword and Shield where we have max Airstream on our Dragapult, but Tera Flying Acrobatics is incredibly strong. Acrobatics is a really strong flying type move that doubles in power if you've consumed your item or you're not holding one at all. So a Dragon Dance Acrobatics set could be pretty scary. I don't think this one's quite as good as Fire, but definitely one worth grabbing and trying out. Next, we have the mighty Tera Steel, and boy is this a great one, again for most Dragon types. Dragon types only have 3 weaknesses in Dragon, Fairy, and Ice. All 3 of these are resisted by Steel, making this the perfect defensive Tera type for essentially all Dragon type Pokemon. Now, if you want stab Steel moves, you'll have to run Tera Blast with this, but honestly, you're going to use this as a defensive Tera. You don't really need to worry about the offensive power of Steel because you have really good coverage on this Pokemon. So honestly, you do this as a defensive play, and it makes you really hard to remove. Dragapult has some really good natural bulk, and with access to things like Will-O-Wisp and Screens, you could make a really cool defensive set with this Pokemon, or even just run this as the defensive Tera type on your offensive set to get off more Dragon Dances or just get more damage off before you get removed from the field. I think that Steel is probably in running for the best Tera type overall in the entire game, so there's no surprise to see that it's so good on Dragapult. Another really cool Tera type for Dragapult is the Dark type. Now, Dark is actually an incredible typing. Not only is it great offensively, but defensively on a Ghost type, Dark is amazing. Ghost is only weak to Ghost and Dark. Dark resists both of those, and it hits other Ghosts for super effective. And not to mention that Dragapult already gets access to Sucker Punch, one of the strongest priority moves in the entire game, and it's a Dark type move. A Tera Dark Life Orb Sucker Punch Dragapult will actually one-hit KO an opposing Dragapult. Dark is definitely a Tera type you don't want to be sleeping on with this Pokemon. And finally, last but definitely not least, is Ghost. If you just Tera as the Ghost type that you are with Dragapult, you actually do something really huge. Dragapult's always had a weakness, and that is that it doesn't have a very good physical Ghost move. The only one it has worth using is Phantom Force, which takes 2 turns to use. But with Tera Ghost, you get access to Tera Blast, meaning that Dragapult now has access to an unbelievably strong physical Ghost move that hits incredibly hard. This is incredibly strong on Dragapult. It's amazing to have a physical stab move finally for the Ghost typing, and wow, it really shows in power, and if you try it out, you'll definitely see that for yourself. Now, next we're going to get into Hydreigon and the 5 best Tera types for that Pokemon, but quickly before we do, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching my content. I'm still fairly new to the Pokemon space, and I'm loving my time here. You have been so welcoming, and I can't be appreciative enough. If you like what you see, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. I've been posting a lot of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet content here on the channel. So let's get into Hydreigon. Hydreigon is an amazing Pokemon just like Dragapult, and both of these have really good competitive play. And one thing we really saw shake up the meta immediately was this right here, and that is Tera Poison Hydreigon. Now, Poison has never been that incredible a typing, but it's amazing on Hydreigon. The reason for that is Hydreigon is weak to Fairy and Fighting. Both of these are resisted by Poison, and with access to Tera Blast, you finally have a Poison move to hit those fairies with that isn't Belch. Not to mention the incredible defensive capabilities of this typing. Poison has two weaknesses in Ground and Psychic, and Hydreigon has the ability Levitate, meaning that you've lost that Ground weakness, giving you resistances to two of your weaknesses, as well as only one weakness left, and giving you a stab option to hit your weaknesses with. It's crazy to not try out Poison on this Pokemon. I think Tera Poison Hydreigon is still incredibly powerful even to this day. Now, as amazing as Poison is, it's rivaled by this Tera type right here, and that is Steel. Like I mentioned with Dragapult, Steel is incredible on dragons, and it's even better on Hydreigon, because again, you don't have to worry about the ground weakness.
Levitate is a little bit broken when you change your typing.
Not only does this offer the same and even better defensive capabilities that it did for Dragapult, but you actually get access to Stab Flash Cannon, because yes, this Pokemon learns Flash Cannon, meaning that you don't need to Terastallize to hit those fairy types, you just do it for more damage or to be able to resist those things that you're weak to. Now, you will still remain weak to fighting, but still does cover for that bug weakness, so there's that. Next up, we have a Tera type that's running really rampant in the current metagame, and that is Fire. As I mentioned on Dragapult, Fire is amazing on dragons, but the coverage that it gives you against those steel types. Though the thing about Hydreigon is you learn a Heat Wave, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and you're a special attacker, so you get to take really good advantage of those. And once again, this is the third Tera type we've mentioned for Hydreigon that's weak to ground, but you have Levitate, so you don't have to even worry about that. Being able to resist fairies and hit those steel types hard and only have a weakness to both rock and water makes this an incredible Tera type for this Pokemon, not to mention Stab, Spread, Heat Wave. Now, the next one that I think is really good on Hydreigon is actually Fairy. The reason for that is that Hydreigon is 4 times weak to Fairy. Other Hydreigon are going to be a problem for you if you're a Hydreigon. Of course, you can drop that Draco Meteor on them, but what if they were to switch into a Fairy type, becoming completely immune to that and one-shotting you back with Tera Blast? I've thrown Fairy on here because it literally just walls Hydreigons unless they're running Tera Poison or Flash Cannon. Being completely immune to Dragon and resisting that Dark just makes you incredible going up against mirror matches. It's also great into essentially any other Dragon type in the game. I think Fairy is pretty solid on this Pokemon and definitely something worth trying out. It even destroys those fighting types. And last but not least, we have the most broken typing combination with Levitate, and that is Electric. Now, what do you get when you cross Electros with a good Pokemon? And that's Hydreigon with Tera Electric and Levitate. Having the bulk of 92 HP and 90 on both defenses and having 0 weaknesses while having the offensive power of 125 special attack, that's a little bit scary. Not to mention that Hydreigon gets set up moves like Nasty Plot, Dragon Dance, and so much more. I think as metagames start to go on, we'll start to see those Tera Electric Hydreigons popping up. There's a lot of things you can EV for when you don't have any weaknesses. I hope you found this video helpful, and I have more on the channel just like it. I covered every single EV and Evolutions Tera types, and I also covered the Salamence and Tyranitar event, so definitely go check out those videos. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.